this country. I have a client who does local marketing to the English-speaking world. So these are 8 tips that you can use. I will be going through them fast. I will share my slides on SlideShare, and of course you'll have the video afterwards. So if more explanation is needed, just make a note of it and come ask. I don't want to scare, but digital transformation is very real, and it is definitely impacting your business. If you are not aware of it, you need to be, because it has already come. It is already affecting all of us, and by golly, it matters. The degree to which it matters will vary depending on the business that you are in. So I like to see 2 sides of a coin. It's both a threat and a promise. And despite all indications to the contrary, and you can tell from my accent that I'm not from around here, I have had to learn a lot about how New Zealanders like to do business. And you do business differently from the way that I have done business in the UK and Europe and in the US. And one of the things you all say is, word of mouth. Now, I'm not decrying word of mouth, because a lot of you are here because of word of mouth. I've spoken to 2 people just in breakfast outside who said, oh, I got the invite and I forwarded it on to so-and-so, and here he or she is. There's nothing wrong with word of mouth, but it cannot be your only strategy. So, here are some of the expectations that are definitely hitting your business. This is what people who buy from you are expecting. They expect to be able to contact you how they want to, not how you want to. Many of them don't want a one-size-fits-all. They do want to customize their burger, as Rosina described. New marketplaces particularly are really, really important. Those middlemen that Rosina talked about that sit between the buyer and the seller. We just took a client onto Amazon.com seller marketplace and Amazon Europe seller marketplace. They have one product that has skyrocketed. They are up about 4,000% year on year just on one product, and it's a $20 mirror. Just saying. These are all opportunities that you absolutely have to test out for yourself. I'm not promising that you will get those results, but you need to know what the opportunity is and whether it's relevant or valid for you. This is what I want to run through. These are all tactics, so let's be completely clear. My business does execution marketing. Rosina will set your strategy and your positioning. We help you do the stuff. Where you do the stuff, whether it's digital, online, offline, direct mail, telephone sales, I don't mind. We are neutral officially on that, because what suits you may not suit the next person. But these are all tactics that you should consider. Let's start with a really straightforward one. Who's registered on Google My Business? Okay, so you see the little pretty picture on the right. I always use myself as the example, because if we're not doing it right, then how can I expect you to do it right? If you write creative agency secrets into Google, you see this little picture on the right-hand side. And this is 4 aspects of my business that Google can help you with. Words, pictures, video, and maps. You can control how Google represents your business. Now, if you're in a crowded marketplace, like we have a client who is in kitchen fitting, kitchen cabinets to be specific, there's lots of people who do that. You need to be able to stand out. And this is one way of standing out. Make sure your logo's up there. Make sure the map is accurate. It's unbelievable the number of maps that are not correctly representing where a business is. Your opening hours are there, and that you've got reviews for your business. On the left-hand side is the main natural search listing. You've got a headline and you've got 6 subcategories. You can influence how Google represents those, what little words are under the subheadings, and the order in which they are displayed. It's in what used to be called Google Webmaster Tools and is now called Google Search Console. And if you don't know how to do it, we've got a free ebook. The guys at the back who work for me, Jeremy and Conrado, give them your card and they'll email you a link so you can download how to do that. Get yourself registered. It's absolutely free. Go to business.google.com, and what Google does is it sends you a postcard through the post to verify your actual address. This is important. They do want to know that you're a real business with a physical location. These cards get lost in the post quite frequently. It is very well worthwhile persisting, and it can take 3 or 4 weeks for the card to arrive, because they send it from America. Get verified. That's when you receive the card and you have a 6-digit code that says you are who you say you are. But then Connect up all the other bits that Google does, the video, the analytics, the insights. If you advertise through AdWords, less keen on Google Plus these days, but make sure that if you have a profile for your business in all those other places, you tell Google, hey, we're all the same. How many of you have multi-site locations? Good. Definitely get every single site registered so that it's very clear that, again, you are the same business. We moved offices at the turn of the year, and it was a little bit of a palaver, but it was really important that we took the reviews that we had got at our previous address, which was in K Road, flipped over to our new address, which is in France Street. So on the previous slide, you'll see it said we only had 1 review. We actually had another 4, and we persuaded Google to merge the 2 accounts so that our reviews carried over. Now, if you're multi-site, it may be important to your customers to know what people have said about your operation in Hamilton, and that what they say about Hamilton is not applicable to Tauranga. So just consider that when you're doing your listings. Keywords continue to be important, and understanding them is really, really key to the essence of your business. I recommend using more than one source of keywords. Let's be completely clear here. Google supports its own objectives. Its objective is to sell you advertising, and there is nothing wrong with that. But an independent keyword tool can be beneficial to verify and cross-check against what Google's recommended. So here are some tools that you can use. The SBI Apps is a paid one, which we use. So if you work with us, you get access to that. But Moz is there, Word Tracker is there. And I will put these slides on SlideShare so you don't have to scribble down all the URLs. But learn how to research keywords. And Moz is a very, very good resource. In fact, I've got a few other resources in this show that you can just go and read afterwards that, without being patronizing, carefully explains what you need to do and how to do it. Going back to local, make sure you mention where you are. If it really matters that you're in Eden Terrace, say it. You know, which suburb, which state, which county, whatever. The metadata in every place where your brand is represented, and that could be on Facebook. Obviously, it's on your website, but it could also be on Google My Business. It can also be in the yellow pages. These are not to be ignored, and you do need to be consistent and to keep the same information appearing. Directory listings. Those of us with grey hair will remember nice big fat printed directories. So these are all the solicitors in the country, and these are all of the registered plumbers and things like that. These things still exist. In fact, there are more of them than ever. And it is important that you get your business listed in the ones that are relevant for your trade or practice. I like to recommend that you have 2 versions of your listing. A 1 sentence, which is a bit like mine, we help business owners solve the problem of finding new customers, and then maybe a paragraph that amplifies a little further. And then save that, because then you can copy and paste it, obviously. Yellow, I'm sorry, I've got some Australian references in there, because some of you, I'm sure, are trading in Australia as well. Yellow Pages is still important. If you find my listing in Yellow Pages, and obviously you know you can put your website into Yellow Pages and it sends customers straight through to your website. I have a landing page on my website, which is /yellow, so that people who come to us from Yellow, A, it's easy for me to isolate them and identify them. But secondly, on that page, I make it easy for them. I know if you've come to us from Yellow Pages, I've got a pretty good idea of what you are looking for. So going to my home page, which might have stuff about today on it, I think it does at the moment, may not be what you are looking for right now. So I use the page, the landing page, as a signpost. So I can quickly direct you to the part of my website that hopefully is relevant for what you're looking for. And it also acknowledges the fact that you've come from Yellow Pages. So I look intelligent. Always like to look intelligent. Bright Local is a very good service. It's global, and their citation service, they specialize in finding local directory listings. Now, if I was to ask you, if we had a lot more time, what directories you know, we will together come up with 4 or 5, including Localist, including things like Neighbourly. There are over 30 for New Zealand. I hadn't heard of most of them. So it's worth paying a small sum to them, and they will go and do some of the listings for you and keep them up to date. And so Yelp, if you're a physical location where you want people to come to, Yelp is my husband is a mad Yelp user. I didn't realise this until I went on holiday with him recently, and he was using it in Buenos Aires, which, not to show off about where we went on holiday, but more the fact that it was global, and I was really interested that he trusted that as a source of tourist information. When you do a Google search, you write a 2 or 3 word phrase into Google and it comes up with search results. Google will email you everything new for that result, that search, if you want, and it's called Google Alerts. So your brand, the names of your key operators, your competitors, new business opportunities. You can set up a search string in Google Alerts and opt to receive an email. Now, some of us work in very time-sensitive kind of news businesses. You might have that alert sent as it happens. Or you might just say, no, send me a weekly summary. I don't need to have this every single minute of the day. But you can then set up some really, really useful insight, and you can limit it to New Zealand, you can limit it to academic journals, you can limit it to video only, you can limit it to news only. There's a lot of ways of setting up your advanced search. We use it for some clients to put comments. So if something comes up on the Herald or on Stuff, you can log in and give a point of view and say, I work for this company, and either I agree or disagree. And it's a very nice way of representing your expertise. Some people use it as a way of contacting prospects. There are blogs that I have commented on years ago, and I've been blogging since 2006, that still bring incoming traffic to our website. And obviously you can then use that to build a mailing list, and a mailing list is probably one of your best assets as a business. If you do not know how to use search operators inside Google, go and take a tutorial. This is how you get the Google Alerts to send you valid and relevant information and not the wrong sort of information, because we've all done that. We've all become very expert at scanning through Google and thinking, yeah, that's right, no, that's wrong, blah, blah, blah. This will help you to further refine and filter the search string, and it's a really, really important skill. Who's a member of a business association? Here in Auckland, everybody who pays rates is automatically a member of your local business association, and many business associations will allow people to be members even if you're not a local rate payer. So if you particularly feel that the Grey Lynn Business Association or Te Atu or whatever is important for you. Some are more active than others, but they're absolutely super organisations and great ways for networking. I gave this talk to the Grey Lynn one, and I'm going to do it in Te Atu later on next month. You can do promotions to them if you need, if your business runs in that sort of way, and again, build your mailing list. Can you tell I'm a direct marketer? Mailing lists are really, really important. If you haven't got one, please get one. Definitely look at business associations and networking groups. There are lots of very diverse groups. A lot of the ones that I have joined, I have found in 2 principal ways. One is through LinkedIn, or people telling me about them or bringing a friend along. The other is I found through meetup.com. So when I first moved to New Zealand, we lived in Dunedin, and then we moved to Auckland, and obviously very, very different ecosystems for business. And we initially used it for social purposes rather than business, but meetup.com is absolutely brilliant. And in fact, I've used it successfully for a client who is a lady who is a stand-up comedian who was going to do a comedy festival in Adelaide. Very good way to find locals quickly, and she knew exactly who her target demographic was. Before she got there, she joined these meetups of young mums and helpful singles and people who like to go out and do things together. And then when she got to Adelaide ahead of time, she went to the group so they'd all met her, and then she was able to explain she was in town because she was the stand-up comedian. So it was a really neat way with a very low budget of getting in front of audiences. Does anyone know the cards in the pocket trick? You notice I got 2. So we meet, the business card exchange, you've all done that. In my right pocket, I put the cards of the people that I know I want to follow up with. In my left pocket, I put the others. so I know where to spend my time the next morning on which people I really, really want to follow up with. This is very Kiwi, but it's very human. We all need to know who's worthy of our trust. And testimonials is a good way of doing it. Here are some straightforward tips. Make sure there is an obvious place on the website where people can find testimonials. And if you are confident, please date them with the most recent one at the top of the page. It's a very good look to have a very, very, very long page of testimonials that appear to come at regular intervals. I said the word appear carefully there. I'm a marketer. If you get a testimonial, try and again do a short and long version. It's a bit like listing your business. So there's a sound bite, and that can go on the testimonials page. But quite often people give really interesting insight in a slightly longer few sentences, and then we make that into a blog post. So you can have a category on your news blog that's called testimonials or references or whatever the right word is for your business, and you can obviously then put it there as well. More than that, you can also link out to your client's website, and you will be astonished if you don't already follow your own analytics, how many of these linkages people genuinely follow them to see who they are. So you're sending traffic to your client's business as well as them potentially sending traffic to you. The most important bit for this is the penultimate one. Have a business process that happens regularly to get new testimonials. If you're in B2B, it might be that part of raising the final invoice for a job is about getting a testimonial. It might be that it's just something that comes up in your marketing agenda once every quarter. I don't know your business, but you can work out what works for you and then make damn sure it happens. And then ask for testimonials. So the Google My Business page has a little thing that says reviews, but let's call it testimonials. The regrettable thing about it, and the very Google thing about it, is you have to have a Gmail address in order to leave a review. I know, and you can probably think of them, there are clients that you have who you think, that is in the too hard basket, they're never going to do that. Don't worry. So I have a parallel process. For those where I'm reasonably certain that they won't have any problems with that, I direct them there. And of course, there's nothing to stop me copying and pasting that review onto my website as well. The other nice thing about Google reviews is you can reply to it and respond, so that there's a little bit of dialogue. On LinkedIn, for all of us, please ask for recommendations, not endorsements. Endorsements is the click that says, do you want to endorse Rebecca for? And I have seen pole dancing suggested, someone with a good sense of humour. Those only show up as tiny, tiny little sub-postage stamp size clicks on your profile page, and they really have very little value. A recommendation is real words written by a real person. Just for reassurance, LinkedIn emails that to you to approve before it gets published. So, there's a little bit of potential dialogue there. Local advertising. Don't forget, the traditional methods work. Really good for both brand building and for product and service promotions. Here's just a list of appropriate places where you might choose to advertise, and this was a client that we did a little bit of work on. This was just something that Facebook came up with, but it basically said you can get 90,000 people who are within 4 miles of your physical location. Well, that wasn't actually a great attraction for this business, but for some people that might be lovely. Facebook is notoriously complicated, and they are so-and-sos at changing the rules and making things difficult. Here is a resource for you to tutor yourself. It's a website and a podcast. I commend it to you. I've linked to a few key episodes here, which an example for a fitness studio, an example for financial services. It's really, really worthwhile getting to grips with this or finding someone who can do it for you. Did any of you see these adverts on Facebook? Yep, couple. This is advertising this event. We went onto Facebook because although it's very nice to have 3 businesses, we can also advertise to people who don't yet know us. We advertise people who match behaviours. People who are admins for Facebook pages for business are highly likely to be business owners or business decision makers. We also then did people who are just in the region. And surprisingly, the vast majority were looking on their mobile news feed. People were not using their desktops. And that was just some cute little insights of real people who responded to those adverts about this event. Press relations locally, really, really worthwhile looking at, particularly if you happen to know some of the New Zealand Herald columnists. Got a nice article from Graham McGregor recently. I sent him the article. He was kind enough to print it and credit me. Local listings. This event was on Finder. It was on the Herald event guide. And lastly, ask for those referrals. Really, really worthwhile doing. And do it when people are actually on the point of rejecting you. Because they feel a little bit guilty about saying, I'm really sorry, we're not going to be working with you. You say, that's absolutely fine. Would you be kind enough to introduce us to someone who might want to work with us? And believe me, guilt is a wonderful motivator.